Gotcha!
Hey, what's going on YouTube? Black Paul, aka Hurdle Gang, back with a video for you guys. Honestly, this is a video that I wasn't sure I was gonna do. I've gotten a lot of people in my community asking me to do a Paul Phoenix guide. I guess initially I was hesitant to do one because guys were never really my thing. I guess in a sense it's kind of like stepping outside my comfort zone because there's so many videos on YouTube where people go over different Paul things and go over him as a character. But I guess with this one, I guess I kind of wanted to, talk about how, or at least make a guide how it explains my experience personally with the character and going through ranked and things of that nature. So, I'm gonna try my best to kind of just like make it more personalized for like how my experience was. But I guess right now I can at least talk about Paul in general as a character. So I guess that's how I started off as like, the introduction. So Paul in Tekken 8, generally speaking, he's good. He's a good character. I'm not gonna say he's trash. I'm not gonna say he's like bad by any stretch of the imagination. I'm also not gonna really do a tier, put him in like a tier. That gets people pretty triggered, especially as it pertains to the Tekken community. So I'm not really gonna talk about where he falls in the tier list, but I will say that he is a good character. I will say he's kind of underwhelming in a sense when you think about what other characters in this game can do as far as like aggression, rush down properties. Paul still kind of plays how he always has played in Tekken. He goes for like big damage. Obviously, he's trying to. Obviously, you have to take risks to get like that damage, but generally speaking, he's going to give you that big damage. He's gonna look for punishing, capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes. That's a lot of things that Paul excels with. And for me, the main reason why I kind of wanted to make this video was I didn't want to do it unless I got to like God of Destruction. And for me, the road to God of Destruction definitely was not an easy one. So people that like say like Paul just like all he does is just run up demo man and death fist mix-ups, and that's just gonna get you to like God. Maybe that's worked for some people, but I mean for me, no, not necessarily at all. That wasn't my experience, and I can definitely attest to it. My community can attest to it. All the struggles and all the demotions I got, God demotions I got, to before I even got to my first one where I actually won it. It definitely wasn't an easy road. Definitely involved utilizing everything that Paul has in his toolkit. It also involved utilizing heat, and I feel like that's something that I struggled with in the beginning parts of the game. Like obviously I knew heat was a thing and you had to use it, but there were times where I was kind of just playing like Tekken 7, and what I mean by that is like I just wasn't using heat. It wasn't like intentional. It was more just like I'm just so used to playing Tekken 7 and like using heat was just like, okay, well I'll use it, but like I wasn't really utilizing it to its fullest potential, if that makes any sense. So once I finally utilized heat and maximize its potential, and also utilizing everything that Paul has in his toolkit, I feel like then I was able to really make more progress. And I say this after I got Tekken God Supreme. I feel like that's when I started clicking that okay, like I really need to start utilizing heat effectively. And once I did, I definitely noticed a lot more success for me. So That much I can definitely say. But to start off, so that's my introduction as far as like, why I wanted to make this video, and it's, Tekken's, anniversary, 1 year anniversary. So I feel like it was a good time to like kind of make this Paul guide. I know a lot of people were asking for it. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to do it. I wasn't sure how long the video was going to be, but also I knew I didn't want to rush it. But just to give you guys a general like scoop of like why I'm doing this, and hopefully it helps out some potential new Paul players or people who are looking to pick up Paul. Hopefully this guide will help in some way. So I guess the first things I like to talk about is Paul's neutral game. I feel like you definitely want to be able to utilize neutral, especially when you're like up close to your opponent. You kind of want to know how to break their defense, or kind of get them to like open up a little bit more. So while Paul might not have like the best neutral game in the game, but he does have a pretty solid neutral game. Obviously down forward 1, down forward 1 back sway. Definitely want to utilize those. Down 1 is a great poke to use. Obviously the good keep out too. A lot of times when an opponent's like really low on health, and I'm like say I'm like this far away, and they're just like, all right, they're just trying to run in, like get something in, but they're like 1 hit away from being dead. I can't tell you how many times I've done like a down 1, just a simple down 1, not even doing a string. Because obviously if you do the entire string, or if you just do this, it's mad minus on block. If you complete it and they block it, even if you whiff it, it's still like really minus on the whiff. So honestly, like a down 1 as a keep out, even in neutral, it's a good poke to use. Standing 3, same thing with like standing 3. Like I'll just bait my opponent really far away, and say they only have like a bit of health left. I'll do a standing 3 just to keep them out, and has really good range too. So like, look at that, really good range. Down 1, standing 3, really good keep out tools. So I definitely like utilize those. But also you also want to mix up your down forward 1s into the side step 3. That's the counter hit property. Get a free shoulder with that. Yeah, you definitely want to utilize the neutral back 4. That's the counter hit property, but that's pretty solid range. It's minus 12. I wouldn't be worried too much about, as long as you're not just like spamming it nonstop. But you definitely want to mix up these options while you're in neutral. You don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Like obviously, you can probably get away with, doing a down forward 1 repeats in the sway, to a side step 3. Just do a side step 3, back 4, open your opponent up for some mids. These are like tools you definitely want to take advantage of. Especially if your opponent has like pretty stingy defense. Down forward 4. I would say that's like one of your best friends. It is safe. That's the counter you get a guaranteed for 2. Also get a guaranteed shoulder there. So you definitely want to take advantage of down 4-4. I don't think I use that enough, truthfully. Use more down 4-4s. Get your opponent mashing, get a follow up. So these are things you definitely want to take advantage of in neutral. Some underrated moves. So up back 2. I think a lot of people forget about that because the counter hit properties are gone. Paul had it in the trailer. That was like a was a counter hit. You could get like a follow up combo after that, but for some reason they took it out when the game launched. Here's hoping to season 2 they bring it back. But obviously it still has pretty good like tracking. I still feel like it has a good options, and obviously when you're at the wall. Let me see here. Stop wall splatting now, but Yeah, see, it can wall splat. It can, see, right there. You can wall splat there. Just have to be at a thing and still get a combo. So it's still a pretty good move. I still throw it out. You know, I think I'm so used to throwing it out more, even though it doesn't have its counter hit properties. Was, you know, due to Tekken 7, you know, it still had that. So it didn't really phase me when they took it away. I still think it's a good move to use. But you know, definitely don't want to forget about it, even though it's not as strong as it was in previous Tekken games. What other moves can I say are kind of underutilized? Back forward 1, I feel like it's a good evasion move. I don't think it gets talked about a lot. Like I can't tell you how many slow mos I've gotten. There's actually one really like popular clip that I had on Twitch where I beat a Hwoarang player from doing back forward 1, and the slow mo probably lasted like 15 seconds, and like the Hwoarang was like mashing some strings, whatever. I think my back was toward the wall. I'm not really sure. I think my back was towards the wall. He was like mashing against me when I'm at the wall, and I do the slow mo shoulder, and it evades some of his strings and hits him for the kill. Obviously it's a high, but even though it's a high, and obviously it's hold on, it is, yeah, it's only -6. So the only way they can punish this is if, you know, obviously they say they make you whiff it or they duck it. But in my experience, and I've never had anyone duck that move. I've never had any player like intentionally like duck it and like launch me. So take that for what it is. Like, I think it's a very useful move. At the worst, someone's gonna block it. At the very worst, like you'll whiff it, but that's like, you know, if you're like kind of far away. I mean, the range isn't that great. I feel like it could be way better, and maybe that's a buff they could implement in season 2. Just like buff the range on it, you know. But you know, it's an underrated move. Like I said, it doesn't get used as much, and it's safe. Like I said, not many people are gonna duck and launch it. If that did happen, it'd be the first. So like I said, I will definitely utilize that move. Another underrated move in neutral, I will say, down for 3. It says it's a little slow, but it does have pretty good range. Not the greatest range, but it's like pretty solid. You know, obviously when you can't charge it up. This was a move you could charge up in Tekken 7, and the charge up would get you like a combo afterwards. They took that away, unfortunately. So, you know, on block it's only -10. You know, so it's not like the worst thing in the world. So obviously you just do this one. You know, it's only -9, so they can't really punish it. I think that's a underrated move to use. Not a move that I use too often, but you know, I'll still throw it out. You know, hoping usually I'll finish the string in hopes of, like, you know, the opponent like mashing. Hold on one second. See if I can see right here. You can get like you get a combo from that if they mash, and obviously full combo right there. So a lot of times, like, I don't think people are really looking out for that move. Like I said, it's underrated. Like, not a move that I immediately think of, but it's definitely a move where, all right, if you aren't, you don't do it too often, and you might catch your opponent mash. You say you do the first hit, and then, like, you know, then you just do this one, then you do the second one, hoping your opponent can mash, and then you get a full combo. So you kind of have to just experiment with, like, you know, all the moves in a sense, because, you know, you're not really sure what your opponent's gonna be defending at first. So when you're just kind of throwing out a lot of different moves, but you're also being methodical about it. You know, you're not just blindly like mashing, but you're being like methodical with like what you want to do, implementing your neutral game, trying to open your opponent up, you know, then you might be able to catch him with like something unsuspectingly. What else we have here? Down forward 2. Oh, how can we not talk about down forward 2? This is probably this might be Paul's top 3 moves in the game. The crushing properties of it, the range. I've had times where I'm throwing out down forward 2, like right here, and I'm like catching my opponent because like maybe they tried to like throw out a move and I throw out my down forward 2 and it crushes theirs, and then I get a launcher. Like you said, that's just like down forward 4. Your best friend is one of your best friends. Down forward 2 needs to be treated like in the same way, in my opinion. Like it's too good of a move not to use when it's -8, has crushing properties, has great distance. It's gonna be like one of your favorite like Paul like standing like launchers in like neutral. You know, you can just keep throwing out down forward 2, and like you said, down forward 2 is just as good in Tekken 7 as it is in Tekken 8. The crushing properties, it's safe. Like you said, like sometimes you just need like a Hail Mary move to just like get a combo, get a launcher, and do a combo. This is probably the move to utilize. So, you know, definitely when you're up close, you want to like do these things. Obviously, but you know when you're like in distance, down 4/4s, those will definitely like do more good for you than bad. So until they like, you know, I'm not saying I want them to nerf it, but if it's here, you should use it. Don't be afraid to just throw it out. You know, sometimes you just need one launcher, and that's the difference in winning a match and losing a match. When a match starts, sometimes you're looking to get like a counter hit launcher or just any launcher. Down forward 2, you know, you'll never be in the wrong for trying to throw it out. You said recovers relatively fast too. So yeah, down forward 2 definitely your best friend. Don't forget about that. All right. What else? Okay, so I'll also talk about Core Circle 4-3. I kind of wish this move wasn't as, I guess, negative, because you know some characters can launch it. You know, like for example, Kazuya, Jin. He says -14. I don't think it's that scary of a move for it to be like -14, honestly. I would rather it be like, I don't know, -12, maybe. Like I said, you can, you know, also you can get a follow-up Devilman from doing it, but I don't think it's that scary that where it should be like that minus. And obviously it's a move that I tend to do a lot. You know, if I'm trying to like open up my opponent, like I'll try to do like sidestep 3 witches -12, and it is punishable. Like I said, it's, you know, but if you're kind of like mixing up your pokes, you might not get punished as frequently. But like, you know, if you're doing Core Circle 4-3, I mean, there's times where some people are just like, all right, well, I'd rather not get hit by mid, so you know, I'll eat this Core Circle 4-3. But you know, obviously, if you do it enough times, someone, you know, your opponent might just bail out and just block that low, and then they'll punish you for it. But you know, it's still, you know, a move that, you know, if you feel like your opponent isn't blocking low and they're eating a lot of mid, sometimes you just want to mix it up and throw it out there. It's not a bad move to utilize. Just be mindful how often you use it, because you know, if your opponent's really stingy with the defense and they like to block low a lot, obviously they'll block that and like punish you for it. But I don't think it's like you said, if there is a buff in season 2 that does happen, I hope they look at that and just maybe just don't make it as minus, so I'm not getting like, you know, crumpled for it. But like you said, not many characters can like do like a full like launcher from it, only select characters. But I still think -14 is a little rough. Okay, so that's neutral. So I guess we can kind of like wrap that up in a sense. So next thing I kind of want to talk about, I might be kind of going like, there's not really like a particular order I want to do this in, but I kind of want to just like stick to like give certain elements of his game a certain amount of time and then like go to the next things. So now I guess we can talk about or something where Paul really excels, and that's his throw game, obviously. So Paul has a complete throw game in Tekken 8. Obviously, you have so this throw kind of threw me off. This is the up forward 1+2 twisted shout throw. It used to be down forward 1+2 in Tekken 7. So it threw me off because the down forward 1+2 is now was the universal rage art command. So they changed that. So a lot of times in the early parts of Tekken 8, I would do down forward 1+2, and then I'd be doing a rage art, miss input. But now I'm way more used to doing the standard up forward 1+2. It's not really awkward for me anymore. Obviously, that's the 1+2 break. I say one of the most versatile, and as far as what I mean by versatile, the one that's more effective, I'd say, is the chest crusher throw. This throw works wonders in Tekken 8. But not many people are breaking this one. And I can also say the same for this. That's a one break. The foot launcher throw. Only bad thing about this is I primarily play on side left, or play one side. So obviously when you do this throw, you're instantly on the other side. So you just gotta be like mindful of like, all right, how well are you gonna play? Or if you are on the opposite side, if you do that, you'll be back on this player one side. So this throw doesn't get broken that much. And another throw, obviously, down forward 1-3. This is like the Death Fist grab or the Congo blast. Obviously, you get a follow up from this. You get it. There you go. I haven't played Tekken in a couple days, so I might be a little rusty. But obviously, you get the follow up Death Fist. Perfect command. Obviously, you can tell how rusty I am. Because I haven't. Here we go. Just gotta do it one more time, but obviously my inputs aren't working today. But obviously you can do a Death Fist command. Obviously if you time it right with like the gut punch. Another throw you can do, obviously 4-4 1+2. I feel like this throw tends to get broken the most. Obviously there's some reward if you are able to break it. Let me just show you if you're at the wall. Obviously you can get a wall splat combo. So that's always nice. And if your opponent does break it, it's like a wall stun. In Tekken 7, before they, I guess, buffed that, you would just be like a stun animation. Your opponent could get like a combo for breaking that throw at the wall. But they carried over like that when they break that throw when you're at the wall, so you can recover really easily. Cause you hit the wall and you just go right down, so they can't get like a follow-up combo. So there's that. Oh, I forget. Ultimate punishment. Can't forget about that. Ultimate punishment it's a one break. So usually if you're someone that's going up against Paul, you will usually want to mash one so they're not getting hit with the ultimate punishment, but that also leaves them susceptible to getting hit with the ground and pound. And obviously you can get like the arm breaker as well as a follow-up to that, but obviously I'm sure people would rather not eat 50 damage, opposed to just like 30 or 40 when you complete like the armbar animation. So Paul's has a complete throw game. Definitely needs to be utilized. A rule of thumb I like to say in any Tekken game where I'm playing Paul, am I doing everything in my ability to beat my opponent? Whether it's utilizing multiple throws, am I not utilizing like heat? Am I not utilizing like lows? Like what am I not doing in a game? So if I feel like I've done everything in the game where I'm trying to utilize a lot of Paul's toolkit and I'm still not able to win, then okay, I'll just chop it up to like, okay, my opponent's just a really good player. You know, they probably have a good idea of the Paul matchup, which most people do. And, you know, Tekken 8's been out for a year. Most people know how to play Paul. You know, it's not really a matchup issue. So most people kind of know what to look out for in certain scenarios. So, but if I feel like I'm using like all of like Paul's toolkits, and obviously I utilize my combos and my mix-up variations, I feel like I usually have a good shot. Like you said, it's only a first to, when you're playing ranked, it's only a first to 2. It's not a lot of time to really like, you know, figure out what your opponent's doing, and you know, sometimes vice versa for your opponent to figure out what you're doing. So you kind of just have to like take every match and try to download as much info as possible, and then utilize that info to better yourself in the match. Okay, so next things I want to talk about, and obviously at the end of this, after I'm done talking about all my key points, if there's anything I missed, I'll also try to talk about those as well, because I'm kind of just thinking about some things I probably just like didn't talk about as much. Okay, so I guess I can talk about some staple combos that I like to use. So hold on one second. So do combos. All right, so I guess I can go over some standard launching combos that I like to use when it comes to like you know, ranked or anything like that. So a down forward 2 combo that I like to use. Do something like this. Deep dive. That. 1 second. There we go. So that'd be like a pretty staple like down forward 2 combo. But also, yeah. I'm gonna see if I can do I'm gonna try to see if I can do a Death Fist Ender, because I'm pretty good at doing those now. But the thing with the 3-2 Death Fist, you have to do it on a certain character that has like a pretty like standard like hitbox. It doesn't work on like people who have like a small hitbox or female character types. And then there's some male characters that wouldn't really work as well, like Kazi and Yoshimitsu. For some reason, their body types are just not efficient for doing that combo. But I'm gonna see if I can do it on our guy Paul here. There we go. See? And one thing that, you know, obviously this is completely optional. I feel like my inputs are really crispy when I use the controller that I use. It's a Victrix Pro BFG controller. It's pretty pricey, but as far as like Tekken goes, like my inputs have been way better, way more responsive. So you want like a fight pad that you're gonna get really crispy inputs, and obviously when I'm like fresh, I can input like my perfect Death Fist command when I'm doing this throw. Obviously I couldn't land as many, but you know, I haven't played Tekken in a few days, so I'm probably a little rusty. But when I'm like warmed up, I could do like 30 of those in a row. So honestly, it does help to have like a really good pad. If you did want to invest in a really good pad, I would recommend the Victrix Pro BFG. I got it for $200 on Amazon. And it could be on sale, but like you said, you'll definitely definitely getting your money's worth, and it's definitely worthwhile for that. I'm trying to see if I can do this from the, okay, yeah, so you can't do the down forward one combo. So if I do like this type of route, I can't do like the down forward one into back sway while rising 1-2, which is what I like to do for some other combos that I'll show later. But yeah, just rehash. Yeah, this will be a typical combo that I would do from down forward 2. Yeah, and I'll just do that like simply. If I know I don't have a character opponent that has like a big enough hitbox for me to do like the 3-2 death fist, then I'll just do 3-2 that 1+2. Okay, so something where I would utilize the while rising 1-2, which is more damage. I would do. Let's see. I'm just trying to. Oh, okay. Counter hit. Okay, so counter hit. Course will go back 4. Yeah, that's something right here where I would do that. 1, 2. Okay, so I tried to do the death fist there, and I'll do it. I was just hoping that I could do it all for like one shot, but let me try it again. And another thing is. Not that time. So I'm just gonna do a regular one. So that's 107 right there off of course will go back 4. And another thing is with doing this version of like the deep dive, it seems like it's way more like effective. There's less chance of it like missing. But honestly, like when I was practicing like my deep dive like combos, it definitely took me a while to like, I guess, to get them down packed. But you know, now it's a lot easier for me. So usually I like to recommend people to do the wall rising 1-2 option if they can. But the more you practice like the deep dive maneuver, and I think that's all it really is. Like you have to find a way that works for you, because there's different ways you can do it, and obviously, you know, for me, it kind of involves like here. Once you see the back sway animation right there, right there, that's right when you want to insert the down forward 2. So honestly, it just takes a lot of practice and a lot of timing. But once you get like the rhythm down, you know, you can pretty much like do it in your sleep. Like I can do it from this way, you know. I can do it from the wall rising 1-2. Like I'd say I'm pretty like I'm about 90% like success rate doing the deep dive combos now. And it all just comes down to just like finding out what works for you. Once you figure out once you get like the sway, you know, you just practice that. Once you get the rhythm down, you'll be doing this like in your sleep. So I was a person that like honestly, I avoided doing the deep dive combos because I didn't want to leave like damage on the table. And when they first implemented it, it was like, okay, you can do it, but it's like, it's not really that much reward. And then they actually buffed it to the point where it's like they give you more damage for doing it. So it's like, I think that's what incentivized me to like, okay, well, I don't want to leave that much damage on the table, and that much damage can definitely make a difference in me winning and losing the match. So I definitely like made an effort, like hours. I'm talking like hours and hours of just like practicing this and like practice mode, like as I'm doing right now. I would just do this, like just try to do. Yeah, there'll be times where I miss it, but like that, as you can see. But you know, obviously, I wanted to like in my head, I wanted to be able to maximize as much combo damage as I could in any predicament. And if that's what it took for me to like master it, like practicing it 100 times in practice mode, just doing simple combos. Like I wouldn't even do fancy stuff because I didn't want to get like frustrated trying to do like a fancy combo and then like I dropped the deep dive. So yeah, so I would just say the people who are like probably frustrated and don't think they can land it. Remember what I said about like the pad. Obviously you can do it on the DualSense. Doesn't I'm not saying the DualSense is a bad controller, but for me it definitely helped my inputs for doing that combo like tenfold. So I would definitely recommend getting a pad if you're really like looking to have precise combos and inputs, and just spend a lot of time in practice, just just grinding and doing. You don't have to do like fancy combos. You do something simple like that until you finally get the rhythm, until you start figuring out, okay, that's what it takes to do that. Alright, so another I know that was like a long spiel about like deep dive, but I feel like that's something that should be talked about. Even for someone who didn't initially want to learn the deep dive combos, because I was failing at it like miserably. Like you can ask my stream, ask my community. Like there's so many times I would just practice it and I just gave up doing it because I just feel like I can never do it. But like you said, practice makes perfect. Take it from someone who, like you said, never thought they'd be able to do it really well, and now I can do it in my sleep. Okay, this is like a pretty big damage combo from the launcher. There we go. So that's involving like heat. So that's 117 right there. Let me show you another one that does a lot of damage. That's charged up Hammer of the Gods, by the way. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so that's from a charged up Hammer of the Gods. That's really good. What else am I missing? Oh. This is not something you'll probably get too often, but just to give you like an idea. Charged up. That's 132. They said that's OD, but that's rarely ever gonna happen where you're just gonna like get a charged up version of that and just launch your opponent. But just give you a hypothetical of like, you never know what you'd be ready for, and then say you didn't charge it up and you say you just got your opponent mashing right there. But an idea how much that is. You can get it. Of course I can't get it now. Okay, that's 109. Alright, so not too shabby. Let's see what other combos could we do. Okay, so I also want to talk about like the orbital combos. And these combos, like I said, they're not gonna get you like a full launcher. I mean, obviously you can get a combo, but it's not gonna get you like a tailspin. I mean, like, for what I mean is obviously the tailspin, you'll get that, but I mean, like, that's like once you finish your combo from whatever you decide to do from that, that'll be it. So obviously, if you want to maximize what you want to do from these type of moves, and obviously this was like a full like launcher in Tekken 7, where you do like a combo and then you get a tailspin after that. But something like this, you can only do like, So I'm just gonna show you like what I do to maximize the output of that input. So I do that. So that's 71 damage there, and that's the maximum amount you can do from that particular like combo instance. So like you said, I'll do it again. Thruster, down for 4, down for 1. Deep dive, 71 damage. So I think it's important to maximize the damage from that, because there are a lot of times where you can catch your opponent, say they're doing a high, and or let's say they're trying to do like a grab while you do this input, they're gonna eat this every time. So they're not gonna have enough time to recover. So I think it's definitely important to make sure you maximize the most from this. Like I said, I can do that like pretty effortlessly. Do it one more time. Thruster, double four, double one, backspray, 1, 2, deep dive. Alright, that one that wasn't clean. Do it one more time. Okay, 81 damage, 71 damage right there. Another similar combo or a similar move is Iron Mountain, which is a really good move in itself. By the way, I'm just gonna show you a combo that you can do from that. So obviously it's -9. Great move to use. Like I said. Honestly, there's times where I'll just throw this out like 3 times in a row, just trying to catch my opponent, because I guess sometimes your opponent might think you're just gonna like duck, and so they're just gonna they might eat that, but they don't want to eat a Devil Man. And obviously you get you'll get a follow-up Death Fist. I mean, obviously it's set on counter hit right now, but if I take that off, you just get a follow-up Death Fist, which is great. But if your opponent, this is the counter hit property, so kind of the same similar instance as this. You can kind of do the same thing. Hold on 1 second. Opponent counter hit. There we go. So 73 damage, so around the same amount of damage as like the cross circle forward 1+2. Kind of getting the same amount. And it's like I said, the same inputs that I'm doing. Exact same inputs after I did the cross circle forward 1+2. So another instance of just wanting to maximize your damage output. You just want to be, the thing with like Tekken, you always want to be ready in any predicament, in any situation. You want to be ready to do a combo. You want to get to the point where you're just ready to do a combo that's just an optimal combo that's going to get you a good amount of damage, because you don't always know what you're going to be able to get off your opponent. So to be ready at all times, that's definitely going to be something that's going to make your life like way easier. So like I said, just going over these again, just making sure you're just getting the most output from these combos. So like I said, you're not always gonna be able to capitalize on things like this. So just make sure you can get the most out of it. That's kind of like the main thing you kind of want to focus on. All right, so I guess I can talk about heat now, because I didn't really spend too much time on that. So obviously, another move I didn't really talk about is forward 2. Obviously that's like one of Paul's best moves now. It's a 13 frame heat engager. Obviously it's a good punishing tool too. I mean, 13 frames, that's like probably one of the fastest punishing heat engagers you'll get in the game. So obviously very fast. Obviously it's a high, but I wouldn't be worried about anyone ducking this since it's so fast. Obviously since it's a heat engager, you can do a heat combo from it as well. And I've had a lot of opportunities where say your opponent is with something and I'm in heat, I do a full combo like this, something simple, something that I know it's going to land every time. So that's like a simple like heat combo you could do from that. But as far as like other heat moves, obviously you could probably do like more fancier things. Obviously Death Fist, like that. This is like another simple combo that I would do. Well, you can also get a little fancy with like some of your heat combos, and you can do this, that, So he said you can once you land a heat move on your opponent to get a full combo. You can there's a lot of like mix ups you can do to like maximize your damage. But obviously if you don't want to overthink it, you can just do something really simple. And he said I kind of just do this because like sometimes like my thoughts are racing about like what kind of combo I want to do. So a lot of times I won't even do anything like fancy. I'll just do something like that just so I know it's gonna hit. You know, get my opponent to a wall. And that's honestly good enough for that. You'll get, you know, about 90 or so damage just from doing that. Another great move that's a heat move. That's a heat engager. Press go back or back sway 2. You know, this is really long reaching move. Obviously heat engager as well. Something you definitely want to, you know, mix up with. You know, it's very fast. They can definitely like catch your opponent just when they're mashing something out. So just another thing you want to just utilize into your neutral game. So you just want to just kind of utilize all these things together. You know, obviously, you never know what your opponent's going to get caught by. So he said, as far as like pressure tools, he said Paul might not have like the best pressure tools, but you know it's definitely worthwhile utilizing what he does have in your toolkit. You know, not just blindly throwing out like a death fist. And yes, there's times where you'll get lucky and you'll catch your opponent. And yeah, there's times where I'll get lucky and I'll catch my opponent with a death fist. But you know, you don't want to just rely on that solely. Paul has so many better things than that I think should be talked about and should be utilized. So personally, my favorite move, you know, I'm kind of going out of order now because I was just talking about combos before. But 4-forward 2-1, I feel like that's such a great move. It's probably something you want to be mindful of if your opponent is ducking it. I mean, there are times where, very rarely, few in between, where a Paul mirror match, I might throw this out. You know, at least for me personally, I feel like I'm pretty good at like catching it and ducking it. But most people probably aren't ducking it unless like you just only doing that. You're not doing the mid option. So this is the one that's not the perfect input command. 4-4-2-1, which is punishable. Obviously, you can duck and launch. 4-4-2-1 if you do the perfect command, but it's safe on block. And it's obviously faster. See that it's 26 frames for the second hit for the non-perfect version, and 15 frames, which is a lot harder to like duck and launch. So most people can like you know try to interrupt that, but most people probably aren't gonna like duck and launch the perfect input. So something to think about, and that's actually one of my favorite moves because you know I'm pretty good at like spacing people out. Like one of my favorite things to do, like you know, space people out and just come in with a 4-4-2-1. You know, I feel like I can do that pretty effectively, and a lot of times I feel pretty confident. Like if I see my opponent like in open space and say they just like I know they're about to whiff something, or they're coming in and about to attack, I can just come in and do a 4-4-2-1. And I feel pretty confident. Yeah, there's times where I'll mix it up intentionally, but I feel like a lot of times I'm so used to just doing a 4-4-2-1. But it's definitely, if you feel like your opponent is like kind of ducking, you definitely want to mix up and you know do the 4-4-2-1 non-perfect input. And then you know you can also I feel like there's so much versatility from this because you can fake it out, you can cancel it. You know, you can cancel into like a grab. You know, there's so many different varieties you can do with just doing this one like setup. And I feel like the more you mix that up, the more it's just gonna like help you out. So definitely utilizing like the cancels. And as far as like moves you can also cancel, Press go forward. 1+2. You know, you cancel that into like you know, to like a hop kick. You could. Yeah, so there's a lot of different versatility you can use from, you know, canceling out some of these moves. So definitely don't forget about doing those. Let's see. So we talked about throws, talked about neutral game, talked about lows. We did combos. We did heat combos. Trying to think what else we could talk about. Oh, some other heat engagers. Up for it too. Not my favorite heat engager, to be honest. Yeah, it's they said it's 22 frames. It's honestly enough for someone to jab you out of it, and I've gotten jabbed out of it before. It's not a hard move to like jab out. Obviously, it's a high. They can duck it. They said it's not a move that I tend to go for. It's +5, so I mean it's not bad in that regard, but in the sense that you could definitely get floated relatively easy from it. Makes it a heat engager move to, you know, throw out with caution is what I would say. It's not something I would just constantly spam out. If your opponent continually sees you doing it, I'm sure they're gonna react. But you know, if it's like a move you might just like throw out, you know, just to see like how your opponent's gonna react, and it wouldn't be that bad in that regard. But like I said, I would just be a little bit mindful. You're better off doing go back to forward to like a punish, and it's a heat engager. So just be mindful of that, I would say. A couple other moves that you probably don't think about too much. 4-3-1 has pretty good range. I know this is like a good punishing tool for Heihachi's 4-4-4 too. That launching punch that he does. This is a move that honestly, like, I didn't even do. It was different input in Tekken 7, but obviously the last two hits is what they have in here. He said not a very popular move. I mean, it's only -10, which is not bad at all. You know, you might. I think it's such a rare move. Your opponent might get caught pressing on that, so you might be able to catch them unsuspectingly with this string. But not a move that I do much of. But you know, I might throw 1 or 2 in just to see how my opponent reacts, and if they punish it, okay, that just lets me know that they know about it and they know it's like not like a safe move to just do. But you know, it's not too risky, so I can, you know, say you can definitely like throw it out a couple times just to see how your opponent will react. Let's see. Oh, I didn't. Obviously, critical forward 1 thruster. This is a good crushing. It's a good crushing move, and obviously it's really it's -4, so it can be punished. It has really good crushing properties. I feel like this move was pretty effective when I'm punishing. Like, if I'm really crispy, if I'm really like good with my timing, I can crush Kazuya's electrics. Like I've done that a couple times, but they say it can be pretty risky at times, but you know, it's definitely a good crushing move to use. And it's a good launcher for combos. So, you know, that would be like a combo that I would do from that pretty easily. Like, I'm just ready to do that no matter what. So, thrusters, great launching move. You know, these are like probably the staple launchers you want to do. First, we'll go back 1+2. They said if you have a good feeling that you can whiff punish one of your opponent for doing something, obviously you can throw that out and get big damage. But you know, it's -14, so you just want to be cautious with that. Oh, okay. Armor moves. I didn't really talk about that too much. Alright, so back 1+2. It's only -9. Can't be punished, but you know it's duckable. It's a good armor move to use. Honestly, I feel like I've probably used so much of that in Tekken 7. So that's the safest armor move, obviously. And then you also have down back 1+2, which is pretty punishable, and a lot of characters can launch this. And Brian Fury can launch it pretty effortlessly. So you just gotta be careful throwing that out. It's a good keep out tool though. It's a really good keep out tool for like characters spamming out strings. Good keep out, keep them away from you. I can't tell you how many times like I've utilized this on like a Link Xiaoyu from like a distance away. If I see them like throwing out moves from a distance, I'll throw out down back 1+2, and then obviously you can get a follow up. You'll get a follow up Death Fist on top of that. So you also get a follow up down back 2. Follow up shoulder, which is the same amount as a Death Fist. So you gotta do like a micro step. Then you can get that guaranteed follow up as well. Definitely want to utilize those armor moves because you know there's so many characters that have rush down capabilities in this game, and they're always just like in your face. So sometimes you just need a move to kind of just get them to back off of you. Obviously the shoulder is really good in that regard. So and it's a great keep out tool, and I've used that plenty of times, and it's definitely done a lot for me. But you just want to be cautious in a sense too. You don't want to just be throwing it out in neutral when your opponent's not even doing anything. Like your opponent's just like standing there blocking. You don't want to just throw that out because they'll punish it pretty easily. But as long as you're pretty methodical with how you want to throw it out, it's definitely a good tool to utilize. What else did I want to talk about? So I did down back 1+2. Did heat, did throws. Let's see. Oh, of course. Yeah, this is kind of like the miscellaneous like part of the things I didn't like talk about in the beginning. This Paul sidestep forward 1-4. Probably Paul's most evasive move, or it is Paul's most evasive move. Back in Tekken 7, you can get like you get a follow up Death Fist on this, but they nerfed it. so now it's just like you can get a follow up that. A lot of times I'll do it with different man. My opponent's not taking it. But yeah, I'd say that's like a great move to do. Like almost in any predicament where you feel like your opponent's gonna like mash out something. Say they're trying to throw out a grab, you could use that to evade the grab. You can use it to evade like a string. It's been like a closeout tool for me. When my opponent thinks I'm going to like mash, even like say you do it after like a heat engager, and they're expecting me to do something, I'll do a sidestep shoulder. If they're expecting to they're trying to like press or do out a grab, sidestep shoulder can beat that. It has so many different like effective uses. So it'd be a shame if I didn't like talk about that move because it's bailed me out so many times. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten like slow-mo kills just from doing that. But like you said, it's -14 as well. So you don't want to just blindly just throw it out. You want to throw it out for a reason. Like you're throwing that move out because you feel like your opponent's going to do something. A lot of times when I'm throwing that move out, 90% of the time, I feel like my opponent is about to do something, and so I'm trying to like react to it in a defensive way, and then it ends up being offensive when it does connect. So yeah, so forward 1-4, definitely a great evasion tactic or evasion tool to use for Paul. Definitely needs to be talked about. And I guess one other thing I will kind of like wrap up with. Like you said, I wasn't really have like a set time for how long I wanted this video to be. I kind of want to just give like an idea of like how I like to play the game in a sense, and what's worked for me, what's gotten me to Tekken God of Destruction. And honestly, I think this is like probably like the icing on the cake. And some people might look at me like, wait, what? Why would you even like bother like teaching that? Because it works. 10 hit combos. I feel like it's the ultimate knowledge check in the game. I feel like not enough people, especially newer Tekken players who this is like their first Tekken game, and they're probably not labbing 10 hit combos for their characters. They're probably not labbing 10 hit combos for other characters. Paul's 10 hit combo has been a staple since like the 90s. They haven't changed. They're still in the game. He has 3 10 hit combos. Obviously, I use all 3 of them. There's a 10 hit combo that only does 5 hits, but still considered a 10 hit combo. That's probably the least used out of the 10 hit combos that I use. But you know, I still utilize all of them. Yes, they're very minus, but until your opponent can show that they can block and punish it or parry it when they see the low, you know, I'll still do it. And the greatest part about this 10 hit combo, so I'll do the regular one first. So that's the standard 10 hit combo. Like, you just do all the hits and they get hit by everything. So that's how much damage it will do. But there's an extension from this one. If your opponent doesn't stop that low and they get launched. So I call it a 10 hit combo into the combo because I'm still able to get more combo damage from it. So I'm trying to see if I can get a wall carry here. Alright, of course it's not working now, but pretty much get like the gist. That's pretty much how it would go. There we go. Look how much damage that does, and that's if they got hit by every single hit of the combo. You know, typically your opponent might not get hit by every hit. They'll probably block the first like couple hits like there, and then when it starts getting to like the low right there, they might like start getting hit by a couple. Yeah, I would say the success rate on 10 hit combos, and that's just one 10 hit combo, but success rate that I've had with 10 hit combos it might be like over 75%, honestly. And that's just if I try every single 10 hit combo Paul has. So obviously the one I just showed you, that's like the typical one I'll use. That okay, if they don't know that one, I'm pretty much in their head at that point. There's also this one as well. I think that one's pretty sneaky, especially when they get hit by that low. It's a wrap. So my opponent is blocking the first one, or they're countering this one. You know, I'll instantly go to do this one to see if they can test their knowledge and see if they can stop it. Because I feel like chances are they probably don't know all 3, and this one is really sneaky too. Because they're probably thinking like a low is gonna happen, but no, it's only 5 hits. You know. Now I've gotten people with that one too because they're probably expecting more from it, and then they're probably expecting a low, and then they get hit with the mid. So mixing up 10 hit combos, that might be like the last thing I'll say that is very underrated, that people don't spend enough time trying to lab and learn. Paul, I'd say, has probably one of the easiest 10 hit combos in the game. So if someone is getting hit by it, I feel like it's easier to learn Paul's 10 hit combo than anyone else's. There's other characters like Zafina, you know, may have like a Leo, Dragunov, they have 10 hit combos. But not people aren't familiar as that. But I feel like I utilize 10 hit combos because it's been successful for me. Obviously, if every time people block my 10 hit combos that I'm doing in the match, okay, I'm not gonna do it as much. But that goes to doing everything in my ability to like win a match. Am I doing everything in my ability? And for me, it also includes doing a 10 hit combo. I'm not always gonna do it every time, but it's just like, okay, well, if I'm getting beat and nothing else is really working, I can't open up my opponent really well, then I'm gonna do like an ultimate like knowledge check on them, and that knowledge check, you know, and that can also be grabs too. Grabs also counts a knowledge check. Do they know the throw breaks? You know, Tekken combos, it's in the same kind of family. So if they're not showing me that they can like deal with it, then who's to say that why should I stop doing it? You know, they haven't shown me any reason that they can stop it. But yeah, that's like the last thing I wanted to talk about. So I guess the video kind of took a little bit over an hour. Like you said, I just wanted to go over things that I've used in my experience that have like helped my gameplay. Hopefully I was able to like help you guys with like combos and, you know, just trying to steady the ship in a sense where it's like you're doing something in a match, something might not work, but there's always something else you can do in a match. And obviously if you kind of just like get into a mindset of like, okay, well, if you understand something's not working, kind of just have like the ability to just, okay, well, I'm gonna try this out and see how my opponent's gonna react to it. Because, you know, like I said, playing Paul in the high ranks is not an easy feat, not an easy thing to do. So many people know the matchup, so many people know what to do in the matchup. So it's important to like mix things up, so you're not just doing the same things over and over again. Because once you do that, you know, you'll start to, you know, find things that can open up your opponent. And another thing I will say is I don't want people to get like frustrated when they, especially when you're starting off playing Paul and say you're not winning as much as you want. Obviously, winning and losing comes with the game. Losing, especially when you're picking up a new character or you're trying to master a character, you're gonna go through like a lot of losses. So I would say, from someone who started off, you know, going all the way back to Tekken 7, I didn't always play competitively. I wasn't always like the greatest player. I wasn't really learning combos that well. But the more I played the game, the more I played strong opponents, the more I played ranked, because you're playing the strongest opponents when you play ranked. The more I just put hours into the game trying to perfect my craft. That's what kind of got me over the hump to like play better, and I think it kind of carried over to Tekken 8. And you know, I wasn't really sure if I would ever get God of Destruction, and to get it within a year, honestly, I feel like that's very, very telling. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to do that, but I was able to. I was able to get the highest rank, and obviously, you know, season 2, you know, maybe we'll get some Paul buffs. You know, I'm hoping that they're going to. There is a deep dive move that they're going to do. I think it's a deep dive 1 from what it seems like, which gives Paul like a tailspin. So, you know, that'll be like a nice little addition, but I'm more looking forward to systematic changes, maybe a little buff, some pokes, give some extensions through down forward 1, maybe like instead of it being like a high, mid-high, maybe like another mid extension from down forward 1. You know, just like more systematic changes that's going to make our life a little bit easier as Paul players. Because trust me, like they made things a little tougher for Paul in this game, where so many people are playing Tekken 8 and Paul's still playing Tekken 7.5. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, like I said, this is like my first type of like guide video. I hope that you guys liked it. I hope you guys find it informative. Like I said, this is coming from my personal take, my personal experience, what's worked for me in the game. So I hope that, you know, it helps you in that regard, and hopefully it makes your progression and learning of Paul and execution of a lot of his gameplay tactics and tools a lot easier. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got time for today, guys. You say like and subscribe, share the video if you know people who are playing Paul or like to learn Paul. Show them this video. Hopefully they'll learn something, because like you say, all Paul guys, all Paul mains, we gotta stick together. It's a tight-knit community, so if we can help each other progress, then it puts a smile on my face. But until then, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your week. Until next time, Hurl Gang out, Black Paul out. Talk to you guys later. Peace.